Today, we are going to be modifying this wonderful split strike. Of course, I'm strike elite. Now, why we're doing this? Because, why not? And, well, also because birthday present for someone. Now, as you probably know, split strike is the blaster that can be both one blaster and two. It's very simple. It's fire strike style performance, fire strike performance, fire strike style firing as well. If you want, you can even use these to prime them, and they hold 2 shots in the barrel. So, what we're going to be doing is we're going to modify, well, not really modify, but paint these so that they are a good present. Now, if you're staying with me, let's get started on taking them apart. And so you're aware, I'm going to be separating the pieces based on side. So everything from this half is going to be on this side of my table, and everything from this side is going to be on this side of the table. So, yeah, let's get started. Take apart. It's basically just that on the inside, and I'm going to put that half of the shell over the side, and put the trigger and plunger assembly and everything up at the top of my desk. I will be keeping all orange pieces / moving pieces the color that they are, just to keep from scratching paint and whatnot. So, empty, and we're gonna put this side, well, put this half aside. Now, just a quick note, the inside of the half of the blaster that has this little piece has some extra stuff on the inside of the shell that needs to be removed before we can paint. I'm having a little difficulty getting this apart. There we go. So, as you can see, this has 4 screws over here and 1 more over here that allow you to take the assembly that allows it to hold onto the other side in place. I will get that removed, and then I'll show you what you need to do. Also, I recommend that you keep these screws separate from the other ones, because it'll just be a little bit easier to keep track of them. So that's the assembly of the piece that goes here. It's what pushes the 2 halves apart. And put it over here. This section right here that I am removing currently is basically what latches onto the other side and also, like, lets go. I don't really know how else to describe it. It's pretty simple. It's just a little hook-shaped piece with a spring, and that's piece that we're going to have to remove by screwdriver. First, let me actually remove this stuff over the other side. The other piece we're going to have to remove is this, which is the actual lever mechanism. And it's just actuated by a little torsion spring here. And it's just held in with a single screw. So I'm just going to remove that. It's not very hard. And I do recommend being very careful with this because this spring is the only one you got. So you don't really want to lose that. And I'm just going to screw these together so that they go together. You may have just seen that the spring fell. Got it right here though. And let me get aside the other pieces. Now that the two halves are completely empty, I am going to... Oh wait! I forgot about this piece, which is just another little piece that hooks up. It has no mechanical, function, it just kind of sits there and hooks into the other side. Just remove that if it allows me. And now we're done. Everything's removed. And we're just going to put it aside with the other half. So, completely empty. Gonna sit aside until I can start to sand them. So, I'll be back then. So, we've made it on to sanding, and I've got halfway done here. I've got this entire side all sanded. You'll know you're starting to get done sanding when it's basically a matte finish instead of the shiny color that it's shiny finish that it usually is, and when your hands and clothes start to become the color of the blaster. Now, I do have this entire side sanded as well as I could. I cannot get into these little grooves on the hands, the handle, because my hands are just too fat. Now, if you think that, if you're gonna do this on your own, and you think that you'd be able to get in there yourself, then I fully recommend it. But honestly, I'm not even gonna try, because I wouldn't fit my hands. I also recommend sanding the inside of the blaster if you're doing a blaster that the inside is going to be visible on. Now, with the split strike, the inside is not visible whatsoever, so I'm simply going to leave it the way it is. I will still paint it, but it's not as important to sand it because it's not going to be visible. So I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to get started on this other half. I'll get, and yeah. So. Just a quick segment while I'm sanding. I recommend sanding off all, warning labels, there is here, and just right here, and obviously this. I mean, if you want to leave it, go ahead, but I'm personally sanding it off, and I actually kind of forgot to mention it in the last segment. So, yeah. Alright. Another quick thing that I forgot to mention, and probably should have mentioned when I was first taking the blaster apart, and you've probably also noticed this, the blaster, my split strike, is 100% white. And it's not a special model that I bought or anything, because they only come with the one half white, one half blue. What I did was I got two different split strikes and took the white halves to paint, because it's just going to be a lot easier to paint the white halves than to paint the blue halves. So I'm also still working on this, but I'm getting there. Alright, now my blaster is completely sanded. Or blaster? I'm not really fully sure if it should be called one blaster or two, but I'll just call it blaster because it's a split strike. But anyways, they're completely sanded, and I'm going to bring them inside now to give them a quick bath before, so that I can then let them dry and then start painting. Yeah, I will see you. Yeah, if you thought I was kidding about giving these a bath, I really wasn't. After you sand them down, you gotta rinse them off so that the paint will actually stick to the plastic instead of all the plastic that you just sanded off. So, yeah. Yeah, it's all dry now, so I'm gonna start painting, and I am going to be using Valspar. You can't really read that, but I'm gonna be using Valspar, and I don't know how well it's gonna work. I've never used it before, but it says that it's for wood, metal, wicker, and more. So, should work on plastic. And I'll get back to you when first coat is now done, and I'm gonna let that dry and come back to it when it is dry so that I can do another coat. Probably gonna do a maximum of 3 coats. Not 100% sure yet. I'll figure it out while this one's drying. Alright, so I just applied coat number 2, and it's not horrible. It's looking a lot better than coat number 1, but I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do a coat number 3 before I flip it over and do the inside. Coat number 3 should get what's left of the gray and blue covered, because it's covered, it's just showing through a little bit. So, yeah. Painting actually isn't that great, but whatever. It's coming out the best I can. And hopefully the next time I do one of these, the painting will come out better. And that's really just depending on how it comes out now. So, alright, I'll get back to you after my third coat. So, coat number 3 is now complete, and I definitely think that this is going to be the winner. After it's all dried and everything, I'm going to flip them over and paint the inside. And I will get back to you when that's done. I should only need 1 or 2 coats for that, so, yeah. So, I let my third coat on the outside dry for about an hour. It was dry enough that I could flip it over and start spraying the inside. I will probably have to go in and do another coat, but other than that one other coat, it should be good. I'm gonna let this dry overnight, and hopefully weather will stay good and no rain will come by. But I'm gonna let it dry overnight, and tomorrow I will paint half of it with a little bit of another color, just a light dusting. So yeah. But odds are in another 10 minutes I'm gonna come back out and do another coat on the inside. So I'll show you what it looks like then. second coat on the inside is done. Gonna let it dry overnight, so it should hopefully be good for my gray color single coat, just a little bit of a dusting tomorrow, and then after that I'll let it sit again overnight so that I can put a clear coat on it, and we'll see how it looks then. So I have just done my light dusting of gray. It's kind of stripy, but like it's not bad. My other half is completely pink and is currently curing. So I am going to let this dry and cure, and I'm probably going to bring it in overnight because the sky does not look too happy. So I will get back to you when it is dry outside and I can do my clear coat. So it is done raining after the past 3 or 4 days. I'm pretty glad about that. I've just put a single coat of flat clear coat. You can't really read it. Hold on. Yeah, it's just flat clear coat, so it'll have a matte finish, and you know, the paint will be protected and everything. And I'm probably gonna do another 2 or 3 coats, probably 2. But yeah, that's it's looking pretty good. I'll actually get back to you when I'm putting it back together. So talk to you then. So, as you can see, I have put my clear coat on, dried. It's very smooth, and as you can also probably see, I put this half of the blaster back together already. I just figured it was the more complex piece because it had this, which allowed it to disconnect from the other side. I do kind of regret not taping some of these spots off, because as you can probably see there's a little bit of a scratch, but I mean, it's not noticeable enough. I'm a bit of a stick-up. And as you can probably see, it moves a little bit slowly over here. Not sure if you can see. So, yeah, I mean, because of the paint, it's a little bit sticky. I actually probably could have greased it a little bit maybe, but yeah, the fire's great. As far as I know, I haven't actually fired it yet, but I'm assuming that it still has its stock functionality because I did no internal modification, I just painted it. As you can probably see, I didn't put a label on it. I was originally going to, like a name for each half, but the sticker paper that I have, unfortunately, wasn't put properly. I kept jamming, and then it just wouldn't dry on it. Oh well, live and learn. Hindsight is 20/20. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the other half back together. I said that I was going to be very careful with my screws so that I didn't lose any. Yeah, I lost one for this side. And it's just the one. It goes right there. It's fine. it's not going to come apart. Also, weirdly, the shell is not closing all the way. That's probably just because something along the inside is not lined up. This is closing fine. It's a lot. It's easier. Alright, I'm gonna now screw it all together. And yeah. Alright, everything is put together. These shells. That's a little odd. So, because I put paint on the inside of the grooves in the handle, it's very, very difficult to try to take apart easily. But, you know, it doesn't matter all that much. I mean, as long as it looks nice, because it's just, it's supposed to look nice. That's the real reason I'm using it. It's fine. So, I'm not going to do range tests or anything like that, because it's stock performance. It gets roughly 50 feet flat, if I remember correctly. I don't have anything that to measure it with, but yeah. So,